trying to assimilate the implications of the incident in Fukushima in the context of what I know about astrophotometry. And I've been having a very, very difficult time of it. And I don't know exactly how to approach trying to express what I see. What's happening there is unprecedented. Never before has a multi-ton mass, a multi-hundred-ton mass of uranium become molten and gone out of control in a reactor core like this. And a lot of people think that the Fukushima incident is more or less over, that it's under control. And that is completely wrong. This isn't like Chernobyl. This didn't happen at Chernobyl. This is much worse than Chernobyl. And the press is going to try to get people to believe that it's over and try to get people to move on from paying attention to it. And it seems at this point that it's just going to get worse and worse. And on another level, this represents a sort of gap in human understanding about the nature of nature. And the assumption is that since we built the reactors, that we're in control of the reactors, and that since we're the ones who supposedly came up with this technology, that it's our technology. My understanding is quite different. I understand the issues at Fukushima to be multidimensional in nature as they relate to nuclear reactions that mankind has yet to understand the nature of, with respect to the nature of higher order intelligences which may understand them better than we do, which may have alternate uses for our machines. And this is a really, really trying time for me because I can see sort of where this is going. I've sort of known about these issues for a very long time, and the nuclear reactor issue sort of snuck up on me in the earthquake forecasting. I hadn't really focused much attention on the implications of these devices getting out of control, and I was unaware of the huge discrepancy between the size of these nuclear cores and the danger they actually pose to our environment. The other dimensional beings which understand this better than we do, in a sense, and have sort of pawned or puppeted humanity to their ends. I see these things unlike roach motels. I see them sort of like these things that are there waiting to eradicate humanity. And this is a very, very grim view of what is happening with our culture and where humanity is going right now. But I hope I'm wrong. I really, really hope I'm wrong. But at the same time, I know what I know. Other people don't know it. Other people don't want you to find out what I know. And so at this point, it's sort of a fight. It's a big fight with these people who don't know what they're doing, who don't understand this technology, and they're trying to manage this situation from a financial perspective rather than managing it from a human perspective. These people are going to get humanity destroyed or reduced back in numbers, going to get our civilizations wiped out, and we have to do something about these people. These people who are not acting in the interest of their own species. And I don't really know how to approach that. It's a huge problem. In some sense, the war that we're getting into right now has gone outside of the human realm. It's involving other creatures. The other species of creatures on this planet, in this world, are not going to take kindly to what has happened in Japan. I don't see any way around our human numbers is being diminished at this point, and it really makes me sick. I wasn't really planning on doing this with my life. This astrophotometry stuff I wasn't planning on doing. I don't know where this is going, and I just wanted to give everybody an update, let you know where I've been thinking, where I've been working recently with my research, and I hope everyone's doing okay. I'm really sort of not doing okay as far as my situation, my personal living situation. There seems to be plenty of money for war and terror and games and all this other stuff, but if somebody's actually trying to do something that changes stuff, it seems like people become afraid, and maybe people are afraid to donate or whatever to me. I have received quite a few contributions, and I really appreciate those. But at the same time, I can't do this alone, and I'm not going to be able to do it without some financial resources. And unfortunately, the bigger picture here, with the implications of these earthquakes continuing or even increasing in frequency and size, does not look good if we cannot get these reactor devices into a state where they will not be melting down if there is an earthquake, or if their cooling systems fail because of some other issue. Another issue that humanity is not dealing with respect to these devices is that the nuclear decay rate actually isn't constant. These things that were built into these reactors, thought to be constant things, such as the rate of decay of nuclear materials, can actually change. And these changes might be actually localized and have something to do with solar events as they're arriving on the Earth. And so, in other words, we might see these devices start to malfunction because their cooling systems weren't equipped to handle situations where the decay rate suddenly changes and you've got a reaction inside the reactor that is not the normal sort of reaction that's going on in it because of what I call the hypertime translation of that mass through space-time, which is governed by the primary time axis, aka the sun. This has not been considered in modern nuclear science at all. And these devices are only less than 100 years old. And if you look at how long time goes, if you look at how the environment and the sun and the situations, the things that we learn through time, these devices are not in our interest. These things are not in humanity's best interests. And it pains me to think that there might be people who actually want to have this sort of thing unleashed on humanity out of malice, or because they've been exposed in some way or something like that. I think we're going to have to start considering that as a possibility. We're going to have to start considering the possibility that the situation in Japan might be turned into a sort of vendetta in the case that what's happening in Japan makes it uninhabitable, because the NRC, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, is saying expand that evacuation area beyond 50 miles. They're saying now 50 miles is what they want to expand the evacuation area to around Fukushima. And this didn't make the headlines in the New York Times, and it should be. The people need to know about this stuff so that we can take care of this as a group. This is not something that a small group of people are going to be able to take care of. We need to act collectively with this, and that means we have to have the information. And suppressing it in the headlines out of interest in the stock market and financial is just going to make everything worse. It's just going to make the situation worse. It's just going to crash harder. It's going to be more of a catastrophe if we can't take care of this situation. There are places in Japan that are 200 kilometers from Fukushima that are now should be uninhabitable, but that are inhabited by people because they have not evacuated yet. Japan seems like they're going to go into denial on this. It seems like they're going to say, oh well, these standards for radioactivity that we had before just aren't going to apply anymore because we can't evacuate our whole country. We can't evacuate 200 kilometers away from Fukushima. We can't do that, and so we're just going to let these people be guinea pigs for our experiment. And the whole time, this is getting worse. In reality, the situation is out of control. They don't have a way to control this. They don't have a way to manage it. And they were warned. These people were warned about this very same China syndrome phenomenon happening at these reactors a long time ago. And these people ignored that. And you have to ask yourself a question. If these people who are committing fraud against humanity, if a couple of these people had been publicly executed, could this have been avoided? If these people would have been held responsible for their fraud, could this have been avoided? Yeah, I see a mean sort of justice that's on its way right now, but it's overdue in my view. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but it has to happen. It must happen if we are to prevent the sort of thing that's happened at Fukushima from happening elsewhere in the world. Germany, Italy, Sweden, several other countries have already come down, have already put the hammer down about the nuclear power. And this has to continue. This trend must continue. Even when these things are shut down, the cooling water has to run inside of them in order to keep them cool. When they say it's in cold shutdown, that doesn't mean it's turned off. That doesn't mean it's actually shut down. The cooling water has to continue running through the reactor and through the spent fuel pools in order to keep the nuclear reactions under control. If these things lose power or there's an earthquake after they're shut down, it's the same situation in Fukushima. And they're gonna lie to you about whether or not that's true. They're gonna try to say, oh, it's in cold shutdown. Yeah, a lot of people probably think Fukushima probably is in cold shutdown. That's not true. It's not shut down. The reaction is not over. And the fight is going to go beyond the bounds of recorded history. We're going to lose our recorded history if these things are not taken care of in a timely manner.